Hello, everyone, those who are joining. Very welcome to you all. We'll start today's session very soon. Hi, Mohan Raj. Hi, Study on Live. So, finally, yes, it's finally starting. And first of all, let me introduce to myself. I am Rahul. This workshop, this 2-hour workshop, is organized by Programming Hub, and I'm a part of Programming Hub. Okay. Yes. You might get got the mail for this live session because you are subscribed to one of our app, the app of Programming Hub, or you have subscribed to the newsletters of Programming Hub. If you are a Python enthusiast, you want to learn to Python and all the things you can do with Python, then it is a right workshop for you. So my name is Rahul. Let me tell you about what is Python. What is Programming Hub? So Programming Hub is a brand which we use to create technical apps. We have 40 plus apps and 20 million plus users. Those who learn from those apps, all kind of codings. If you want to learn Java, you want to learn Python, you want to learn C++, HTML, we provide all type of courses, recorded as well as live, as well as one-to-one sessions. This workshop is a part of our initiative, which is called Programming Hub Gold, or in short, PH Gold. So at PH Gold, we are a community. We are a Discord community which have 3,000 plus members, Indian as well as out of India international members. And in that PH Gold's Discord community, we create a lot of courses. We provide live courses also, in which we have daily sessions as well as weekly sessions. For example, in future you will see our new course, which is Python for beginners, as well as the course for Java for beginners. So for those who want to learn programming in a self-paced way, like in a slow-paced way, they want to have a one-on-one interaction. They want to learn through live classes. It's a very good platform to learn all these kind of languages. you can have you can chat with the mentors, with the teachers. Okay, so if you can chat to the mentors, you can chat to the teachers, you can get all the doubts cleared. So it's like a classroom. It's like a virtual classroom to learn on all these kind of new techniques. We also have AI courses, which is a new trend. It's very popular among users. So this is all about Programming Hub and PH Gold workshop, PH Gold Discord community that allowed you to join this workshop. This is the initiative of PH Gold community. And now talking about the purpose of today's workshop as well as about our speaker. So the today's workshop is for the people who want to learn Python or are actually learning Python. They just want to upskill themselves. So we have kept the topic is a very interactive, a very interesting topic. The topic we have kept for this workshop is develop your own game. So for example, we all know about gaming, we have tried games, but how these games are created, one way can be Python. Through Python you can create your own small games, just like snake and ladder, a snake game that we all played. All these kind of things can happen with the help of Python. And today we have Suraj Kushwah with us. Sure, developer Ritesh, all your requests we take into consideration, and we will definitely act upon it. We are making new courses, new workshop almost every week, and almost daily there is some new class happening. So please be a part of us. I'll let you know how to get notified with all the initiatives and everything in the comment section, and by the end of this session you will know how to keep in touch with us. But for now, let me introduce to Suraj Kushwa. Suraj Kushwa is a YouTuber as well as a web developer. He has been working in. He has been a programmer since his even before his college days, and he has now 6 years experience of coding. He runs a YouTube channel called Bugswriter, which has some around 30,000 subscriber. His channel is dedicated to programming Linux users as and all those and people who want to learn about the tech community. Okay, today he has joined us from Arunachal. Currently he is living in Arunachal, and he has joined us to take this session on our request. He will take you through to all the process of basic Python, how you get started with Python, and then how can you as a beginner, how as a beginner you can utilize Python to do small things in your life, as well as something very interesting like developing a game, like a virtual video game. So I won't waste much more time. You want to learn Python, you are here for the Python coding. So let me give the stage to Suraj Kushwah. Hi, Suraj.
Hi, hi everyone. Yeah.
So
So
Suraj is here from Arunachal. He's live from Arunachal currently. And thanks, Suraj, to take your weekend and have this session with us. Okay. So please,
I'm glad.
it's
Yeah.
your stage. Please take our audience to this session. Someone is asking that you got this mail, but you don't know. So basically, if you're subscribed to our any newsletter, you have downloaded Programming Hub app in the past, you got this notification. We wanted people to join this. We wanted people, more and more people who have been associated with us in the past, or who connected with us in the past, to know about this workshop. So if you have joined, I would request you to be here with us and enjoy this workshop with Suraj, learn the coding and all these strategies, all the specific strategies Suraj used to make his work easier with the help of Python. So Suraj, please take over the stage and start this workshop. I'll leave you here. Okay, you can start now.
All right then. Thank you, Rahul. So first of all, it's great to be here, and I wish you are able to hear me correctly. Let me know if there is any issue with the audio. So the one thing I would like to know about my audience is like how much experience you have with Python, like from 0 to 10, like if you know some basic or if you have done something and what you're seeking. All right, all these things you need to know before getting into stuff like this. Like if you want to learn Python, where you are going to use it, because Python is just a tool, and you should always think like before learning some tool that what is your purpose with that tool, because most people these days learn programming language because it's trendy. But I'll let you know that yeah, it's good to know something, but you should always be sure like what exactly you want to do, because it becomes easier for you then to learn it. So for example, if you want to get into game development, like you just want to create some game and that's why you want to learn Python, well sure, you can make some small scale games in Python. So yeah, you can try, but I'll say like Python is a very generic language. Like you can do almost anything with it. You can write web servers. You can do like machine learning these days. Or everything is Python based. Data analysis. So there are a lot of libraries available, a lot of community available. You can do a lot of stuff. So today we are going to create a very small game, actually, something which I made when I was learning Python, I guess 4 or 5 years ago. And it is a small, it's very, but today try advanced into the game and try to integrate something like Chat GPT and play against the AI. Okay. So it's going to be really interesting because I never created something like this. But today I'm willing to do it directly here. Okay. So somebody wrote like Python for API development. That's great. If you want to do it, you can learn like Fast API, or it's better to start with Flask if you want to get into like web development with Python. Flask is your the best. Flask is your best friend, and go Go for right and move to Fast API if you get more better. So there are frameworks which you have to learn, but before that you need to focus on really basics, like just writing single line statements, and then what is loops and what is like conditions, and all these things you have to care about, right? So Django is actually going to be really advanced for a beginner. So let me just share my screen and show you that get started with creating something. Okay, what language I can learn other than Python based on nowadays? Other language, I think Rust is really want to get into low level stuff. It's like a hot language these days. Everything is shifting to Rust, but I think Python is must to know. Node.js, yeah, TypeScript is something. Node.js, TypeScript, it's something which is everywhere. If you want to get into like professional word, I'll say. Otherwise, it all depends. Like if you want to do game development, C Sharp is a very good language because a lot of free engines like Unity, for example, is based on C Sharp. Okay. So yeah, you can learn that or C, C++. It's always good to know some low level language because that's how you learn like how computers work. So I don't know if you can see my screen or not. I think we have to, adjust it. Keep your questions coming. I think now it's visible. All right. So we got a Linux machine here, and it's Arch Linux. So that's what I use. It's always good, like if you get in. Okay, let me just adjust my browser somewhere here so I can see the chat and I can also, yeah, write code. Okay, so it's always good to know, like, you know, basically Linux is like must to have if you want to get into computer science related stuff. Okay, so knowing how to use a computer via command line is like a very important skill. So let me create a directory. So in Linux, if you don't know, then we have commands like mkdir to create a directory. Okay. So if you are on Windows, you can just right click and go to new and create a new folder. But I have to type this command mkdir to create a new folder for our session. So let's create a directory game and then, double click on game like cd inside game. So right now I am at this path and we are going to write some Python code. So we have Python installed. The Python version is 3.12, the most latest one. And so the program which we are going to create is again tic-tac-toe or ttt.py. Okay, tic-tac-toe.py. Now, before starting like creating a game, of course, like I'll try to give you some, some teachings of basics. Okay, let's just discuss some basics and at the same time create a game. For example, we all know that we can print something like we can print hello world in Python just like this. Okay, so that's the command and just run it. So keep your questions coming and hold on a second. Sorry, my phone was not close to me. So I hope you can hear me right. Okay. So so in order to run some Python application, what we can do is we have to type the interpreter name like Python, and we have to give our file ttt.py. So this is how we print something, and there's this command cat tty.py, which is just going to show us the content which we have inside this file. Okay. So for
Suraj,
example, we just
just,
use this string.
Suraj,
Yeah.
just to stop you, I think you can remove. You are. I can see your two videos. That Data Studio part is still visible. It's not looking good. So you can either you can just remove that part completely. I will
Okay, fine.
upload all the new chats on the screen, so you can respond to them. Okay. So don't worry about the chats. You
It's
can
just
show
like
your
the teacher.
complete. Okay.
Okay,
Well,
that's
make
fine.
sure
That's fine.
either you see only chat or don't worry about the chat. I'll upload it. Okay.
Okay, it's fine. That's fine. All right. So teachers like you're teaching a 5-year-old. Hmm, 5-year-old. I'll try my best. Okay. So I think most of the learning you get it by doing things by yourself. Okay. Like if you just follow this live stream, like if you try to do things by yourself, then you will be able to learn better because, learning how to code is like, riding a bicycle, all right? You don't learn by watching it, but you get inspired, right? So if you can, like, if you just try to see that how things work, try to understand, and if you get that inspiration, then maybe then you will try to make some effort of making your own game and or showing your own creativity. If you have a nice goal to achieve, then you are going to you are going to try in order to achieve that. All right. So this is our code. Let me just open another screen and go to same directory game where we have this file tty.py. Now this is this is only one line of code which we have wrote yet. Okay, so what we can do is like we can run it hello world. Now let's do something. Let's just print more stuff. Like let's just hello friend, hello enemy, hello neighbor. I don't know if that's the spelling, and run it. So we can print stuff. We can do some basic things like printing. All right, we can do some basic things like printing stuff. Any suggestions to a first year CSE student? Yeah, I mean, learn to code. That's the suggestion which I can give. Learn to write code. So if you have some experience with tic-tac-toe, then what it looks like, okay? So let's just try to print that. So it looks like something like this. So it looks like, oh, sorry. Okay. It looks like this. So we got cross, we got O, we got another O, oops, O, and we have like, so I'm just trying to show you what tic-tac-toe look like in case if you do not know. So, all right. So what I can do is I can print this too. All right. Let's try printing this too. O O X. So how to print this? Well, we can wrap this
Suraj, I
in
think you
three.
can, Suraj, you can do one thing. You can make sure you can do it a previous way so that you can see the tech comments also. But make sure it's a very small section of your windows visible for the comments. You can okay. So in that
Okay.
way you can interact with the audience live on live basis. Okay, that's good. But yeah, you can all minimize also. Now that's good.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. All right. So can you create a game like Minecraft? Um, Minecraft is actually a very nice creation. I remember the guy who made it. He wrote a very small code in C++ and it becomes a very big game. See, all of this stuff is you have to do the basics first and then you have to lead yourself. All right. It's not like it can't be the first step. Okay, so let's try something. Let's create a variable. Okay, so you can create variable in Python like this. So for example, this variable name is equal to Suraj. All right, or you can even do number. Name is age is equal to not 9, 25. All right, you can do something like this. All right, so now what we can do is we can print this variable x. Okay, so again, save it, run it, and we print our board. Okay, so that's the first thing which we did. Like we printed the board. All right. So you can ask questions if you want, like any kind of questions. Kind of like I'm not just a teacher. I'm like a mentor here. Okay. So now let's try to go advanced. All right. So we printed the board. Now what else we can do? So there is this command in Linux clear. Okay. And if I press enter, it is just going to clear my screen. So I just use it a lot and we are going to use it in our program too. Okay. So let's again open our code. And so all of this is very static, like X or O. We want to make it more dynamic, right? So what we are going to do is you know, we are going to have like positions. For example, let's create a list. So list is kind of like array. It is just bunch of variables um, combined. Okay. So let me just show you what list look like. Let's just get rid of this code for once. Okay. So we can have a list like apple, orange, grapes. All right. And we can print it like pause. Uh, okay. So let's run it. So this is our list. Now suppose in our list we just want to print like this orange. Okay. So what we can do is we can give the number. So for example, this is zero. Since we are programmer, our counting starts from zero, and this is one. Orange is one. So let's just print one. So save it.
Suraj, I think
Yeah,
this live from StreamYard banner is hiding things,
yeah, yeah.
so it's better
I
you
got
make
it.
again. So
One
just
second. Let me. Yeah, yeah. Now it won't hide. Okay. Now it won't hide.
just a little bit more because the first line is still hiding. So you can just make it a
Yeah,
little
it's
bit more.
fine. It's fine now.
Now it's fine.
Okay, it's fine. Yeah. All right. So this is our list. Okay, we got apple, we got oranges, we got grapes, and we are trying to print the second one here. Okay, so it's one, it means second because our counting starts from zero. So again, if I try to run it, it's going to print oranges. All right, so that's our list basically. That's the concept of list. So instead of these grape fruits, what we can have is we can have our
So
positions.
you
Like
you do
we
just
can,
a little bit, like first line is visible but half visible. So if you just make it a little more, now it's
yeah,
perfect. It's perfect. Okay.
okay. All right, so what we can do is you know, we can create a list of these values, okay, which is going to be cross and O, cross and O. So in our tic-tac-toe, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's do 9, okay. So O, X, O, oops, X, O, X. I think this is enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. So now let's print our board again. Let's call it a board is equal to, and let's print it. So in order to print a variable, we have to create this string, a f string. All right. So in f string, we can print our positions. So for example, this is going to be our position 0. So let's just test it first. Okay. Let's just print this board and see if it's working. So our X is getting printed, right? I have been curious of learned Python and started from very basic. Now I wonder ChatGPT can write code for us if provided with details for an app or a game. So my question is, can't we use just ChatGPT? No, actually, you still have to learn how to program or how to code or how technology works. See, ChatGPT, it's a really good tool if you want to learn something from it. But if you just, there's no way you can use ChatGPT without understanding what code looks like or what you're doing. So, we always have abstractions, but as an engineer, we study how things work from inside. So, for example, you learn how compiler works, um, but if you look close, you don't really have to learn how compiler works because it is an abstract field which you do not have to care about. But as a computer science engineer, you should know how compilers work. That's how you can call yourself a computer science engineer. All right. So basically, like for example, when you learn Python, you know that you write some text, some English line, all right, and that English line is going to get break down into byte code, and then it is going to break down more into some CPU instruction. So those things you learn as an engineer. So you have to know it, like otherwise, there is no way you can just use ChatGPT and create a game or something. You can just take it's just an assistant. It's going to help you. That's it. So let's just print more position and it's going to get a little bit boring because I have to type. I don't even have any good mechanical keyboard right now since I'm in Arunachal. So I'm using my laptop keyboard, which is not mechanical and it is not fun to use this rubbery keyboard. All right, so let's just change it. This is going to be one, two, three, four, I guess four, three. There's going to be three, four, five. See, as a beginner, you might find it hard to, you know, understand maybe. Like maybe you don't understand something, but I'll still suggest you to keep looking, try to understand what we are trying to do, like not on a very deep level, but at least some generic idea. And it's going to be fun. Like we are going to create some a really nice game here, okay? And you're going to get the idea like how programming actually works inside. So we got an array here. Let's just write a comment. This is an array or list array of our positions. I'll say positions is the right word. Positions. We got our board variable, and we are going to print it, right? So let's just print it. Oops, why we got so much? Okay, so we have a an ugly board here. Okay, how a programmer can use ChatGPT? Should they not use it? Question mark. So programmer can use ChatGPT to basically find debug their code. For example, if they get any error and they don't want to look up on Stack Overflow, ChatGPT is a very good tool. Like it's going to tell you all the possible reasons why your code is throwing some error. And yeah, should they not? I mean, as a beginner, you shouldn't use ChatGPT too much. Like you should only use it to learn concept and nothing else. So as a beginner, I won't suggest you to do things with ChatGPT a lot. Let's just try to trim this down. So we are going to have a nice board. Yep, we got a perfect board. Okay. And this is dynamic because we can change it. All right. This is an array. So we can make any change here and it's going to get reflected. Yep. So we got a basic board up and running, which is like a good start. Now let's just make it a little bit abstract. So what we can do here, we can actually create a variable print board. Okay. So print board is going to be our variable. Um, so why I'm creating a variable because it's good to, sorry, it's in function, right? So this is going to be our function because we are going to print board again and again in our game. As we change the positions or the values change, we are going to print the board again and again, right? So let's just run this function print board and see if it's working. Oops, it's not working. Why it's not working? All right. Uh, okay, weird. All right, so our print board function is not working. Oh, sorry, we are not actually printing it. We are just creating a variable. Oops. Yeah, so we need to print board here. Yeah. So the print statement what was missing. We were just creating a variable and we were not printing a board. So let's just run print board again and see if it's working. Yeah, it's working. All right, so we got a board and we are able to print it with a function. Okay, so these are the three things which we have done till yet. So anybody have any questions, you can always write in the chat. So let's just open it and let's try to go more advanced here. Okay, so we got like some basic stuff up, but what else? So for example, when we play tic-tac-toe, by default we don't see these values. Okay, this is what players type or write. Okay, so let's just make this empty strings, because by default we are going to have nothing and the user is going to give the input. User is going to tell like, okay, in this position I want to have zero cross or o. Okay, but how the user is going to tell, we have to think about it, like how the user is going to point that this position is where I want to mark cross or I want to mark a o. So let's do one thing, let's just give some numbers here so the user can tell. All right, 5 6 oops, yes, oops, 7 8 and 9. Okay, so these are our position numbers. Okay, so these are going to be our position numbers and user is going to tell, okay, I want a x cross mark at 2. All right, at 2, or I want a x mark at 6. Okay, so let's just save it and run it and just to see. So we are able to see. Okay, so that's actually a good interface. So we have to think like how we are going to interface our game for the user, and we can also here print something. Mm, so let's print tic tac toe by Suraj. Okay. Okay. So one second. Hello. Yeah. So we are going to print this game now, and I added a little intro here. Tic tac toe by Suraj. So now what we are going to do is we are going to have a user input. Okay. Suraj YouTube channel is Bugswriter. Okay. So we are going to have a user input here. So let's do one thing. Let's just run a while loop. Or wait, let's just try to take a user input here. Okay. Inside a while loop. So in programming, we have loops, which is basically means. So in programming, we are going to have loops, which is basically running something over and over again. All right. So we are going to have a loop while true, and let's just let's just make this print board a comment, and let's just print something here. Hello world. Okay, and run it. So like while loop is basically running one statement again and again, like continuously. Okay. So what I'm going to do now here, instead of this, let's just print our board. Okay, print board and run again. So we are printing our board again and again, but this is not how we are going to have things, right? So we have to take user input after every board print. So here, let's take a user input. So we are going to use this function input to take an user input, and let's just take an input. So, X. So what user is going to provide us is an integer. All right. So for example, he's going to tell us 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. So let's just do int here because this is an integer. So whatever the input we are going to get, we have to, wrap it into an integer, right? So now what we are going to have here, let's just print this input for a second and see, save it, run. So now it's holding itself, okay? So the program is stopped and it's asking for some input. So for example, we give this input 3, press enter, and it is printing 3, and again the loop is again going up and it is asking for, you know, another input. Okay, so let's just open our program again. And if anybody have any questions, you can always write in the chat, by the way. Okay. So here, before taking an input, we have to tell user that what we want. Okay, so let me put some 9 numbers. So please enter a value. All right. So user is going to get some idea, right? What exactly he have to do. So here, let's just save it and rerun it. So please enter a value and let's just enter a value 6. And right now we are just printing 6, but we have to do something. What we have to do? We have to change this. Okay. So instead of 6, we have to make it O or X. All right. So let's just rerun it. So while loop is basically, so somebody asked like, sir, can you tell me once again, like how the while loop work? So let me just show you a.py. So we have another Python file. Let's just run a while loop. Okay, so once again, let's just print something first. Hello. Okay, and save it. a dot py. So it's going to get print. All right, our statement is going to run one time. Statement is running one time. Okay, and if we add a while loop, if we add this statement here, now if I run this statement is going to run infinitely. See, we are printing hello again and again, like unstoppable. Or like it is kept getting printed. Okay, so that's what while loop does. It's like one statement over and over. So if you want to print hello again and again, instead of doing something like this and then running, you can run a while loop, right? Also, this stopped in the end of the day. So that's it. Like while loop is basically doing something again and again, over and over. All right. So let's just delete this file. Okay. ttt.py. So here, please enter a value. We are entering a value. Now what we have to do is we have to change something in this position. Okay. So for example, here, let's just put some, uh, get some space. Okay. So in our position array, what we are going to do is somebody entered, for example, 6. All right. So what we are going to do, we are going to use this x, which means 6. All right. Because 6 is the position which we want to change. Now, according to the array, okay, this is actually 0. This is not 1. Kind of. So what we are going to do is we are going to do x minus 1. All right. And we are going to change it to x. So we are basically, according to the user input, can we also have a Q&A session with Suraj? Keep your questions ready. Okay. So if user, so this is going to be user input, and if user entered 6, for example, so what we are going to do is in the 6th position, we are going to add, like we are going to replace this 6 with an x, right? So let's just rerun it. TT. So now if I enter the value, for example, 6, all right. So now the 6th is changed to x. Okay. So that's kind of like a user input behavior, right? So this is what we wanted. So now here, I don't like this next line, by the way. We are getting this next line when the user is asking for input. So let's just enter this end is equal to this argument. What it's going to do is it's going to remove that next line. So let me just show you like how. So now the prompt is here. It's not in the next line. Okay. So if I enter 6, it is working. So we are making progress here, right? So and let's do it again, like 5. It's working. Okay. 4. It's working. All right. We are changing the positions, right? So this is good. Everything is changing now. See, but in tic-tac-toe we also need O. Okay, so X is not the only thing. So here is, so we are going to have turns, right? Like we are going to first have a turn of O, which is like player one, and then the turn of like X. So we need to detect like whether it's even or odd, the value, the position. So let's create the variable here, I is equal to 0. And in the end of here, in the end of while loop, we are going to do I plus 1. And increase the value. For example, so this is just going to hold our program for 1 second so we can see properly and run it. So 0, 1, 2, the I values in between. increasing. And what we have to detect here is that whether it's even or if it's odd, okay, if it's even or odd. So let's just delete this b.py and open our game again. So here we got uh, I is 0, and I is going to get incremented. All right. So now what we are going to do here is we are going to check it. Check check the value of I. Okay. So if the I is even, so if I modulus 2 is 0, okay. So if you divide an even number with 2, then if the modulus is 0, then it's obviously the even number. Okay. So we are going to have uh, player A turn. Okay. Else we are going to have player B turn. All right. So player A is going to have O and player B is going to have X. Okay. So this is how we are going to define things. Let's just not print the board for a second, and let's just not take any. Okay, we can take input. So let's just run it, our game again. So python tty.py. Please enter a value, for example, 6. So player A 0 O. Okay, O turn. This is O turn. And since now it's the second turn, so if I do 4, so this is player X turn. Okay. So our program is able to detect that whose turn it is. Okay. So you can think of it like in real world, you are able to like as a human, you are able to tell that this is, player A turn and this is player B turn. So now our program can also do that. It's super cool, right? So now let's do something with this knowledge. So we are able to detect whether it's player A turn. So if the input, so whatever input we are going to get, we are going to change the position here. All right. So if player A turn, we are going to change, like the O is going to get shifted. Okay. And if it's player B turn, then X is going to get shifted, right? So let me remove comments in case if it will look ugly for you. Yep. All right. So let me save it and run it again. So tic-tac-toe by Suraj, and it's asking for please enter a value. So let's just enter 5. Now player O turn. So that was player O turn. Okay. And we got O. And please enter value 1. And it is player B turn. And it is X. Okay. Now it's better instead of printing this here, like player A, we should print it here, right? So let's make this change. So instead of printing like please enter a value like this, and we don't have any idea like whose chance this is, what we are going to do is we're going to print this. We are going to remove this and take input here. All right, here. So this is player A turn, player B turn, and again put. I don't want the next line because it looks ugly, so just remove it. Cool. So we are taking input like player A or B. So run it again. So tic-tac-toe by Suraj, and we got a board. So this is player A turn, and let's give 6. And it looks ugly, by the way. There is no space here, but it is working. Okay, so our code is basically working, right? So let me just add that space which is missing. So player A turn, and this is player B turn. All right. Now what we are going to do is our game is kind of working. Okay, so we got player A turn, 1, and we got our player B turn, and for example 5. See, our board is changing, our game is working, right? So we got like basic structure up, but there is a problem right now, like how we are going to detect when somebody won the game. Okay, if somebody wins the game, how we are going to detect, that's the question. Also, it looks ugly to see 3 boards at same time. So as I taught you before, like we can run this clear command and it is going to clear the screen. So we can also run this command with Python. So what we can do is I can import this OS library. I can import the operating system library, and I can just run it. All right. So os.system. This is the function which we can use in order to run some command. So as I taught you before, that we can run clear command to clear the screen. Every time we cleared the screen and we are asking that, player A turn, and let's just do two. And again, as you can see, the screen was cleared and we again got the board. All right. So it gives us this illusion that we are just running, same step, like it's like unchanging. Okay. It's like kind of like frames in the video. Okay. So we are getting this illusion that this is persistent, right? So that's really cool, actually. I really liked it. Let's do how we are going to detect them. So we have to create a function for that. Okay. Detect if game ends. All right. So now if you think about it, like how we are going to detect whether somebody won the game or not, you have to know at what conditions people win the game. Okay. So let's just try to run the game and see. So if somebody, let me make it big. If we got this filled by some same mark, okay, whether it's O or X, somebody won, right? Or same for this, all right? Or basically vertical, diagonal, and diagonal, horizontal, vertical. That's the game rule, right? So we need to figure out these numbers. For example, oops. For example, 1, 2, 3. If one mark got hold on all three position, then that mark won. Or same for this 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, or 3, 6, 9, or 2, 5, 8, or 1, 4, 7. Okay, so let me just copy this for a second and paste it in our code just to get a reminder. Okay, so we need to create an end array, which is going to be a double array. It's kind of like matrix, array inside array. Okay, and we are going to put these values. So 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 is one condition when somebody won the game. Okay, and similarly 4, 5, 6 is another condition when somebody won the game. Or for example, 7, 8, 9 is another condition somebody won the game. And we can actually keep going on. All right, so let's just do it vertical. So 1, 4, 7, the condition, and 2, 5, 8 is another condition. 3, 6, 9 is another condition. All right, so now let's look at diagonals. Okay, so we are going to capture like all the cases. So 3, 5, 7. All right, so we got diagonal cases, all the vertical, and so these are all cases. Cases. Okay, this is going to be cases. All right, so we got all the cases up and running. Like we got a list of all the cases. Let's just put it behind this position. We can get rid of our sample board. So now what we are going to do, we need to you know we need to figure out that whether these cases are getting met or not. Okay, we need to check if there is any board which is getting all these cases or not. All right, so again, in our this function, detect function, what we are going to do is Is there any glitches distracting anyone on the same issue? It's just me. Let me know if there is any issue with the live stream. Okay. So what we are going to do here is we are going to run a loop. Okay. We're going to run a loop over this entire thing. Okay. What kind of glitches? Is it Streamlabs issue? Is it my side issue? I don't know. Okay, so I guess our technical team will handle it. So let's run this loop, which is going to be from for case in cases. So we are going to pick one case out of our all our cases, and we are going to, you know, just check it. Okay. So if so, we need to check that whether all these positions is filled or not in our array. Okay. So if case 0 is equal to case क्या ले रहा हूँ? ये ले लो. 1 is equal to case 2. Uh, yep. So what is case 0? So since we are getting a case out of cases, now we have all these cases, which is a group of cases, and we are picking one case out of it. Okay, so this case is going to be this array, which is going to be 1, 2, 3. So what we are going to see is that whether the first position, oops, this is going to be position actually. Yeah. Uh, case. Oops, this looks really troubling for a beginner, I'll say. But it is not actually. If you try to understand, it is not. So what we are doing here, this is way too confusing for for a beginner. So what is case zero here? Just think about it for a second. Okay. So we got an entire cases array, which is basically an array of array, right? And we are picking one case out of it. So for example, this case out of it, this array, all right? And if this is case, all right, if you call this case, then what is case zero here? So case zero is going to one. Okay, so one. And what we are doing is we are checking if in the position array, what is the value of one? Okay, now you need to understand that this is not one, this is zero actually. Okay, so what we have to do here is we have to subtract one in all these because our array starts with zero. So you get little bit idea here. Like for example, we got this case zero, which is going to be this value one, and we are subtracting one. So we are going to look at this position now, and we are going to compare it. We are going to compare it with the other position, which is going to be two. In this case, this is our two, but this is actually one because our counting start from zero. So this is why we are subtracting one. And then we are comparing it with the three, okay, which is going to be this here. So we are comparing all three. So here we are comparing and we are checking that, if all three equal, we can print game ends. Game ends. All right. And we can also quit our program. So this is basically stopping our program. So after printing the board, we have to detect if game ends. All right, if game ends. Cool. This is really cool actually. If you get it, it is like it is really creative way to. It's basically like using maths and solving problems. Oops, there is some error because last symbol must be integer, so it's not tuple. Oops. Sorry, I actually missed a comma here. That's why it's giving the error. All right, so tic-tac-toe by Suraj, and we are going to play it normally. So I press 1, it's O, and this time it's X turn, so let's do 5. Let's do 2. Okay, so this is 2. again X, and this time I'm going to fill 3, which is going to, you know, O is about to win now. All right. So press 3 and see game ends and our program also ends. But we need to give some message, right? So when the game ends. So instead of this, we can also type game ends and then anything, any one of these I can print because this is actually wins. So there are a lot of ways to figure out who won. Like the position of I, like the what is the value of I. So you can also print here like who won. But I'm just going to print here that position, basically the symbol, the last symbol which is going to uh, get run is going to win obviously, right? So let's just save it and let's again 1 5 6 2. Oops, I think, okay, fine, it's fine. 3, and this time I'm going to fill 8 because X is going to win. All right, game ends, X wins. Okay, so I guess this is it. Like we got our basic tic-tac-toe up and running. Like this is the game which we were looking for, right? So if anybody have any questions so far, I know there are a lot of questions, like you must be very confused that in a lot of sections, but I think that you know be if you do not focus on like the syntax and if you try to just understand the idea, then you will know what you might be able to understand like what's going on here. Okay. One second. If you have any career related questions like coding related, then you can also ask me. Like I'm up here. Like if you have any off topic questions, kindly drop us your channel name or link after the session, Suraj bro. Oh, it's Bugswriter actually. Actually, usually I teach a little bit advanced stuff. I am a DevOps engineer actually. I left web development, so I usually teach like like Linux related stuff, and I do all sorts of tech related stuff. So if you are interested in that, you can follow my channel. You can look what kind of stuff I do. So I'm not really good with teaching beginners, but I do take sessions for like some advanced people like who have like basics up and running. So by the way, this session is from Programming Hub. So I'll say that you can also, if you want to learn more, then you can join Programming
Hi,
Hub.
Suraj. I thought I would
Yeah,
also join and ask you some questions for our audience to
yeah.
listen and so that they can also pitch in. So I would like to ask you, so what inspires you to coding? How did you start your coding journey? That's my question.
Can I
And do you think
can I
today,
stop my
in today's
screen?
time, that for the next 10 years, I get many queries when I teach on Programming Hub that with ChatGPT in picture, developers will the basic developer or freshers job will go extinct. Like developers will be replaced by ChatGPT or AI. Do you think it is true?
Can I stop my screen? Like we can have like
You can stop for a while. You can stop for a while.
yep for a while. Yep. Okay. So so how ChatGPT is going to impact like tech industry? So
Hmm.
I think
Not in just tech
it's
industry,
going to
to the futures. Like we got a question that the newcomers are
yeah.
saying that now we can do everything with Chat GPT. Do they will suffer from that their career will suffer? The beginners, the
I feel
developers.
like ChatGPT is going to make things simpler. So it's going to reduce the workload. Like if somebody like instead of one guy now, like instead of two guys now only one guy can do a lot of stuff. Okay. So um, yeah, the talent will survive, and the people who are not shifting constantly, who are rigid to only one thing, will suffer. So, for example, if you are someone who is like a jack of all trade, it's better. So, because many people have this idea right now, like if you're master in one and you don't understand anything other than, so for example, For example, if you're a web dev, that's all you understand, like you only understand HTML, CSS, then of course you're going to get hurt. But if you're a jack of all trade, then it's better because the industry is shifting. And I have some recruiter friends who always tell me that these days companies is also looking for jack of all trade, especially the big companies. So if you know like
Okay.
everything, if you are the one like who can get into everything, like for example, how to do DevOps stuff, how to build something,
You see,
how to
मतलब
like all sorts of
multi-dimensional, like
technology, like that's
expertise in
better.
multi-dimensional. Okay. So not just Mighty Alok says hello, hello,
Yeah, see,
and
you get this by yeah, yeah. Yeah, you get this by having good basic knowledge. Like if you're someone who learned top level stuff, like I see a lot of people who just learned React or who just learn like JavaScript and front end. If you understand like core stuff, you are able to do more things well. Um, I think that
there's some network trouble
okay.
on
Do
your
you know
side.
C Sharp or C++? I know C++. I used to do competitive programming with C++. I don't know like if our faces are connected properly.
Some network trouble on your end, Suraj. Uh,
Sorry about my internet. Yeah, I'm
okay,
back.
you're back. So okay, so you're saying the basics should be very important.
Yeah, especially computer science basic, networking basic, and if you have like good knowledge of networking and operating systems and how compiler work and all, then you can make your way on top level technology, but it doesn't go otherwise. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, glad. So I hope you guys enjoyed the session with Suraj. Suraj, if you'd like to send us last message before we end this session, and I will obviously tell you about how to connect to Suraj through Programming Hub as well as about our Discord channel. But before that, Suraj, if
Somebody
you want
asked a question.
comment on something to the new learners, because a lot of people who join us, they are new learners. They want to
Hmm.
start their journey, but they don't know. They see a lot of languages, which language to start. So most common question is, can I start learn which language should I start learning, and can I learn 2 3 languages in one go, like in the one time only? So Mighty Halak also have questions. You can answer that him as well as other learners also, the beginner challenges you face, and then I'll take the people through the Discord channel. Okay.
Yeah. So see, for beginners, I always say a few things. One is like coding isn't just about language, okay? It's about like many people talk too much about language, but it's about the way you think, okay? So if you are able to, if you have that brain where you can solve some problem with the logic, so languages are just tools, okay? You need to think in computer science way, like so if you understand like how a computer works, and if you understand that okay, this is my problem and this is how computers work, and how I can write a code which can in a way that I can solve that problem. So you can do this by competitive coding, I'll say. And this is something which even big companies, large corporation knows, and this is why they always do like competitive coding sessions. I mean, programming is more than just competitive programming, but competitive programming is going to give you the brain which is required. So as a beginner, you should always at least solve 80 problems on code forces or anything else. But code forces is my favorite, but you can also find something. So competitive programming, you try to do it intuitively and do not just learn like concepts. Okay, this is greedy algorithm or this is dynamic programming. Try to do it intuitively. Just go look for some problem in some competitive coding site and try to understand it and then try to write code. So many people I see as a beginner, they just learn that syntax. Okay, they just learn like loops and all, and then they don't understand like where to use it or how to use it. I think competitive programming is a good start. Also,
So
write
Mighty
projects,
Alok has
create
asked a
something.
question that okay, he's
Yeah,
they are very confused
yeah.
with the terms like libraries versus engines versus graphic APIs. Can you please interpret them in a very easy way to easy for
Yeah.
the newcomers to understand? And also, he asked, can you make a game in inventory system? It seems very complicated to me. Oh,
Inventory system. Hmm.
first, you can
So first of
answer
all,
first
like
about the
yeah,
terms.
yeah. So first of all, libraries is so libraries is just a code which is written by someone else already for you. So if you want to create something, so you don't have to do everything from scratch. So for example, if you want to make a game, so there are a lot of people who have already created libraries to do some basic things. Okay. So you don't have to write code to get keyboard input. So libraries is just code by someone else, which you can, use. And engines is kind of like a platform where you get all the tools to do something very specific. For example, game engine. So if you want to create a game, there are a lot of um, similar stuff which people do, like animation or like movements and all. So engine is a little bit bigger. It's not just about coding, it's about a lot of other things too. Okay. And graphics API. So graphics API is actually same as libraries. Okay. So API, you can also call it library. So it's basically like, but since it's graphic API, it's mostly like graphics library. It is only related to your computer screen pixels and all. Okay. So yeah, like these are the things. Also, can you make an game inventory system? It seems very complicated to me. Game inventory system. I mean, I if I want to, like, I have to do research and then I can, but not it's not something I can do immediately. It depends like at what level. Like you can obviously write the logic in C++, but if you want to visualize it, I don't know. Like you might have to use Unity engine. You might have to master it first and write it in C sharp if you want to show graphics and all. Which language you can prefer for freshers, sir? I can. Okay, to be honest, if you ask me like what I tell my students, so like I'm also a teacher, like I take classes. I You can ask for the link, like it's tutor.bugswriter.com. But so the language which I usually recommend to my students, see, if you ask a question like this, it is going to start a war. That's why try to ignore it. But I will say C. C is the good for first beginner. First language C and Python. C and Python. And if you are looking for a job, then of course Node.js and TypeScript is also good. C++, move to C++. If you want to do competitive programming, I'll say C++ is the best. But again, it's a matter of like it's like cultural thing. Some people might say learn Lisp, Haskell, Rust. Like every language have fan base, so can't say. Yeah. Any more questions? Like, you
I would
can
like to ask,
ask.
why do you say C plus plus? Like, why did you choose C plus plus? C for yourself? Like, what's your reason
See,
for choosing C?
I always have this path. So this is my own journey. So I'll say that all my students, I just tell them one thing, that do competitive programming. And competitive programming, the best language to do competitive programming, even with lot, many competitive programmer also believe is C++, because C++ have some libraries which you can take advantage of, and C++ is it's advanced at the same time. It is very core, like you can do memory stuff. And if you're learning C, which is really good as a first language, C++ is just an extension of it, so it becomes easier for you to learn and do something. Yeah.
And also, I would like to ask in terms of career, because at Programming Hub, in the Programming Hub Gold, we also focus on the career and freelancers. So you started your career once your college was done, where your education was done, like I think 5 years ago or 4 years ago, or even when your
Yeah,
college
four,
was
five.
done. Okay,
Yeah, four,
so
4 years.
we see like we see as a, I have talked to you earlier also. You are doing good. You have a well-paid job and everything, and you do freelancing also. But at the same time, we see some people who struggle to even get jobs, or even if they get job, they are very hectic. So what is the something that you think you did different or people should do different, so get to cater to the demand of the industry and get placed in the industry in a good position?
So getting a job is depends on like four factors. One is like your skills, obviously. The second is your profile, online profile, because these days you nobody will knock your door and ask for you like we are looking for some, like a programmer or something. So you have to create, everyone hire online these days. So you have to master like online. You have to look good. You have to make LinkedIn profile and all these profiles on Indeed, on Glassdoor, or there are many sites. So uh, more the better online presence you have, the more chances you get because when the recruiter try to hire you, they always stalk you online. So yeah, so one is like your skills, obviously, like how good you are with what you do. Second, profile. Third, how much you are applying and you are applying. A good to do. Lot of you have to apply a lot. Okay, and while applying, you have also have to look that if you're applying for some back-end engineering job, so you have to adjust your resume accordingly. Okay, you have to ensure that your skill set match with the job description. And the last thing is communication and networking. So how many people you're talking to and what kind of people you're talking to. Are they are in industry already? Are there so you can do YouTube channel to improve your communication and you can know a lot of people via YouTube channel. In fact, YouTube is kind of like a profile. So you have to basically market yourself. You have to understand that it's better to send a video instead of resume. Okay, if you can create a video. So if wait a second, let me just share my screen. 1 second. Let me show you that what worked for me. So can you just adjust so they can see my screen? Okay, so I don't know if this is working or not. So this is my this link I used to spam to a lot of recruiters. Okay, so here when you open it, you immediately you can see a video where you can see some projects which I worked on. Okay, some coding projects I worked on. So that's what you have to do. Like you have to grab attention. So if you, so I used to email this link. If any recruiter open this link, okay, so the first thing he sees that my projects, all right. So he get to in since it's a video, most people are more likely to see a video than reading stuff. So they used to open it and then I had like more projects and every project I created a video, all right. Even in the company. So even if I work in the company, so this project I've made it in a company, all right, and I made a video of it. So I used to keep a record of all the work I'm doing properly, and that's what worked for me. So see these projects I did, yeah. So I made this, machine learning project. So I showed it, and then I had like some personal projects like GitHub links. Everything was open and accessible quickly. So yeah, that is something. Um, So we have lots of question here, I guess. Could you please give some hints on how an individual make inventory system? I like that. I think it depends on research and requirements. Like if you want to create an inventory system, then you know I just know the tools. I have to look what inventory system is. Like you might have to create an array. Maybe I do not have any certificate for coding, and I mean B.Tech student. I'm an art student, and I'm trying to build a game after learning language. You just learn Unity, and you can build game. Uh, I have also done Unity. Like I have built like 3 4 games in Unity. It's fun thing to do. You can watch some tutorials maybe to understand Unity, and C sharp is required. So. Can I get a job related to programming, but I don't have any certificate because I am an art student? You can always get a job in programming. Doesn't matter what you have done in the past. If you have skills, if you flash it online, and if you have communication, then you can surely get one. Yeah. Uh, you're on
Thank you,
mute,
Suraj,
by the
for
way.
answering all the questions. I think now I'll take the viewers who are watching this stream to the Discord Hub community. And meanwhile, I would like to also. Wait a second. Okay. Meanwhile, I would like to thank you also for joining in this workshop. Uh, Great to have you here. And Suraj, his YouTube is Bugswriter. You can search Bugswriter online on YouTube as well as on his Instagram and get connected to him there also. And also to programming. He also gives workshops and classes in Programming Hub Gold. And the link for this I am sharing you in the chat box, where all you can join the Programming Hub Gold and get started with the free channels and then explore the programming hub premium gold premium facilities also. Let me share the link. It's in the chat box. Meanwhile, let me also share my screen and give you a little bit hint of programming hub. But before that, I think we will say bye to Suraj so that he can. Thanks, Suraj, for joining on your weekend.
All right.
Looking forward to have more sessions with you. Uh, Thanks again, and thanks to the viewers who asked good questions from Suraj. Thank you. So meanwhile, I like to share my screen, and I would like to show you that Discord programming of how it looks like. So this is our Discord. This is our Discord programming hub. Okay, so this is our Discord programming hub. As you can see, these are the channels. So it's very neat and clean channel we made. These are the three free access channels, and these are gold membership which you can get with $5 month subscription. It's just $5 a month. We also provide one-on-one mentor session and coaching which you can request it in the channel itself. You can connect to the admins and the mentors present the channel. For example, let's say we have this community chat. We have this community chat, and you can ask all the questions. People ask questions, have discussions. They ask for the we get they get these kind of projects and job and internship questions. For example, let's say they get all these interview preparation courses, practice tests, and everything all in one place. And also we take in request also. We have separate classroom for Python, Java, digital marketing, AI. You also get all the announcements what's happening. For example, these are the announcements. In this way you get all the announcement of the sessions happening. Course guide, it has all the calendars and everything marked. For example, upcoming classes, we have these classes going on. From Monday only, we're starting a class called Introduction to Python. And if you join a community, you can see the all the session details and all the curriculum in the Discord community itself. Okay, so the purpose to create this community was when we started. The purpose was so that people can come at one place, because sometimes we struggle learning from recorded videos or from apps and everything. But to actually the purpose was to actually connect people so that they can simply talk to each other, they can learn, they can have live classes, they can ask questions. Like in this session, we answered a lot of questions to people. Okay, so this is sometimes does is very tough in an app version where you are just learning recorded sessions and doing assignment. So I hope you enjoyed this session. You got some inputs that you wanted, and you got to learn something. Please share the feedback in this. Join the Discord community. Share feedback there also, and hang out in that chat group. Ask questions. I will be there in the Discord community, and whenever we'll have the next session, you will get the notifications. So please be available. Thank you, Niklam. Sure, join it, and you can, if you have any questions, you can just tag Programming Hub Gold, and you can get the answer. Even if you want to ask anything from Suraj, you can ask Programming Hub, and Suraj will also answer the questions. Thank you all. Thanks all for joining. And I think now it's time to end the session. But it was a good session. I hope you enjoyed it. We enjoyed it, and we are looking for new sessions every weekend on Saturday or on Sunday. So I will you will get notifications. Stay updated to these kind of workshops and everything. And follow Programming Hub on all the social media links, also Instagram, everything, to get all the notifications. Thank you, Mayuk Das, all the people who have joined and asked questions. So let me see if we have any questions. We have some new people joining in. In any way, thanks a lot for the session. I'll just explain. Also post the social media handles also. Just give me a second. I will also post the name Programming Hub. Wait a second. So we have programminghub.io. This is the Instagram channel. So you can also join this Instagram channel to get all the updates and everything. Okay, please join that channel also. I have shared on the screen. So this is the Instagram channel programminghub.io. Thanks for joining. Ending this session right now, and looking forward for the more sessions next week, or maybe even before that. You will get the notifications. Stay updated. Thank you.